Hello everybody, it's Mark from Mark Fixes Stuff here, and we're doing a very quick channel update and chat. Did promise that I'd do this. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to come out. I've set a couple of bits up here. I've put this green screen up so that hopefully we'll be able to show you some bits as I discuss them, so I'll put them in post. Again, this is just one take video, not much editing. And if there's flubs, there's flubs. I'm sure you'll live with it. Also, I hope the audio quality is okay. This is a very echoey room. So what's been going on with me? Well, I've been kind of missing in action a little bit for the last week, because this week is Mrs. Fixes Stuff's birthday week, and she is, I'm reliably informed, 39. Again. So yeah, between that and the sun coming out and children and the onset of Easter, I've not really had much time to get here and do my videos, because my filming location is separate to where I live. But don't worry, I know the situation in the UK at the moment is quite literally around the corner, and it's door to door, and there's no one else involved. So total self-isolation, apart from the office cat, which lives here. So yeah, how is everybody? I'm feeling pretty good. I was quite ill for about a week, as some of you who follow me on Twitter will know. Couldn't get out of bed for 3 days. Luckily that's all cleared up, and I'm basically back at it with a vengeance. Don't know if you've noticed, but the stubble's coming in a little bit. And I've got a lovely 70s hairdo going on. So I'm getting a whole Noel Edmonds vibe, I think. And how are you guys doing? Guys and girls, is your hair getting really unkempt and out of the way? And is anybody getting a beard? And girls and guys can apply to that, or whatever gender that you ascribe to. Where am I going with this? I don't know. If anybody's wondering why I'm looking down, as usual, I've got my little monitor down here to make sure I'm not going too far out of camera shot. I did ask a while back if anybody had any questions. I thought I'd do a little bit of a Q&A, particularly for my Patreon backers. And again, a big thank you to my Patreon backers. They do make these videos much more possible than they would be otherwise. As you know, my real work has kind of ground to a halt. And with me being self-employed, I have literally no money. But, you know, I have my health, I have my children, and I have my beautiful wife, although she does seem to be going backwards in years. So I thought I'd just crack on with some of the questions for this one. And at the end, we'll have the usual retro question for you to come back at me with. So let's see what we've got. So I'm going to my Patreon inbox on my Mac now. Yeah, I'm a Mac user. Don't at me. Now, who have we got first? Okay, so Dave Wild. Okay, so question for your video. Off the back of the tab twiddler. Thanks, Dave. Off the back of the tab twiddler comment, what Dave's talking about there is the tab twiddler that I used in my most recent video, where I took apart an Atari Jaguar, and it's got a lot of metal tabs. Off the back of the tab twiddler comment, what are the most indispensable tools in your kit or on the bench? And is there a prized tool? For example, desoldering station or hot air rework station? And at the same time, over on Twitter, I had Retro48K asking me, what's the most basic equipment you recommend to get started doing your own mods and cap replacements? So there's kind of one question there. And I did explain to Dave via Patreon inbox that I'm in the throes, and I have actually written a script and recorded the voiceover that I've yet to shoot any video of my top 13 tools. And I went for 13 because 10 wasn't quite enough, and I thought that 13 was a cool number, really. So that's a video that's coming soon, but not to be political and just sidestep the question without an answer. The most basic equipment that I would recommend is a temperature controlled soldering iron. And the difference is that a temperature controlled soldering iron can apply more or less power to keep the temperature constant at the tip of the iron when you're on large pieces of the board, say things like the ground plane. And it just makes life so much easier. And you can see what temperature you're at. You're much less likely to vaporize the tracks on a board. So I'm going to hold back on saying any more tools because I really want my top 13 tools to be refreshing and new for everyone. But I think anyone can guess that a temperature controlled soldering iron will be in there somewhere. What have we got next? Chris, that's at Panther UK 2358, asked me, have you got anything coming up for us Commodore fanboys, mate? Keep up the good work. Anything being fixed is good. I have. If you saw my last social update video, you would have seen that we have the Amiga 500++ board, which is going to be completely put together in a series of 3 videos. I break it up so that it's not too much of a Herculean effort to sit and watch it. And we're going to go through that. So that's something for the Commodore fanboys, although that is Amiga. And I've got a feeling that Chris might be talking about the more 8-bit stuff. So I do have an entire Commodore 64, which came in a case and is very, very dirty. And I thought I might restore that. And it's got some games with it. I thought I might restore that, clean that up, and then we'll have a little session gaming with that. So yes, have got things coming up for Commodore, and that will include the SD2 IEC from the future was 8-bit as well, so we can do a bit of loading with their fast load Epix reloaded cartridge. Epix fast load reloaded, I can't remember, but we'll have it on the video. So what else have we got here? Ben Rattigan, another one of my wonderful Patreon backers, said, anything on replacing SMD caps? Well, we have got some SMD stuff coming up. I've got a CD32 that needs doing, and it's got quite a lot of leakage. But we have done some stuff on SMD cap replacement already, as you can see over here. I'm pointing to just the green screen. And I'm hoping that it's showing some footage that I'm going to download from my own YouTube account of the retro resurrection for the Sega Mega CD. That's the Genesis CD for you guys in America, where we had to recap the board where there was quite a lot of leakage. So that's going to be appearing up there. And thanks for that, Ben. Questions wise, let me see. Oh, hang on, I'm in the wrong tab. Tab Twiddler. There's a couple of good ones here. Dave Wiggins said, what's the worst system you've tried to fix, and was it worth the hassle? The worst system that I've tried to fix was Game.com. And I don't know if you remember that console. I haven't got it to hand or I'll show you. The Game.com was an LCD organizer stroke cartridge based system. I think it was from Tiger Electronics. Absolutely awful. And they developed lines in the screen, a bit like the original Game Boy DMG01s do. So I did actually fix that. Was it worth the hassle? Not really, because to be honest, the screen's so bad. Even originally, it's almost impossible to play. But it is a piece of retro gaming history, so I'm glad it works now. I should get that out ready for a video. Any interest in seeing that, then let me know in the comments section below. And then he followed that up, Dave Wiggins, by saying, alternatively, what would you like to have a go at? What would I like to have a go at? Something like an Auric 1, because I've never got my hands on one. Or he says, a Tatung Einstein or a Sam Coupe. Those are ones that I'd really like to get inside of. Other than that, I've kind of either covered things or I have them already to have a look at, if that makes sense. Yeah, so I hope that answers your question there, David. And Ben comes in with another question, Ben Rattigan, and I'm going to let you because you're a Patreon backer. What's your take on RF shields? Bin them? As they are always stated as a US requirement, are these rusty, cheap bits of metal needed? Okay, so an RF requirement, just to explain what that is, in America, they have much more stringent laws on radiation. And by that, I don't mean the stuff that will make you turn into Swamp Thing. I mean that's, electromagnetic radiation, which just basically interferes with other things in the household. So lots of things need quite a lot of metal shielding to stop the little stray bits and bobs coming out and interfering with your telly or your radio. Wasn't needed in the UK. So, for example, they couldn't have sold the Sinclair Spectrum as it was in the US because it didn't meet the I've forgotten what the standard is. I'm sure someone can let me know below, but it didn't meet that. So the Timex Sinclair stuff had a much more shielded unit. Is it needed? Not really, but for me, and as you can see over here, in again the Retro Resurrection for the Mega CD, I took quite a long time getting that shielding back to a workable situation, even though it was rusty, because for me it's a part of the machine. And when it's a part of the machine, I believe it should go back with the machine for historical purposes. I don't see a reason to take it out unless it's really beyond repair. So I will put quite a lot of effort into making that happen. Let's see what else we've got there. I think that answers that. Ben again. Good grief, Ben. You're getting your money's worth this month. I kid. And another. Best way to get old RAM ICs out. I've got 40 MSX, CPC and +4, all with hot RAM. I bet it's MT RAM. And what's the best way to get them out? Especially with original CPC 464 boards that are like butter. Yeah, they are particularly prone to heat. Excuse my squeaky chair. What's the best way to get them out? If you think you're going to damage the board, for me, the best way to get them out is take some very sharp side cutters and clip the legs. What that means is if you clip the legs and get the body of the IC off, it stops being a heat sink. So it takes much less heat to remove the stumps of the legs out of the hole because there's nowhere for the heat to wick away into the IC body, down the other legs, into the ground plane. What you're then doing is just basically taking a very small piece of metal out. The easiest way to get RAM ICs out, even on those very delicate boards, is to get a desoldering station, the one with the gun and the pump, because it just makes it a doddle, a breeze. They're quite expensive if you look at it quickly. I mean, they're around the £80 mark, but if you've got a lot of machines to do, it saves you so much time that it really does pay for itself really, really quickly. Okay, right, well, that's the end of the questions. I hope everybody enjoyed the questions. If you'd like to join in with the Patreon Q&A, then please do come and help me by supporting me on Patreon. My children like food, and only one of them is starving this week, so I had to choose the favourite one. That's a lie. I don't have a favourite child. Dislike them both. It's a lie. It's not true. It's not true. Things that are coming up are still coming up from the last video. So if you really want to know, you can go back and check out the last channel update in chat. The thing that I really did want to talk about was things that have been delayed because of the current situation in the UK. And if you notice, I'm being very careful not to say what that is, because what happens is the automatic subtitling on YouTube comes in, detects those words and puts a little tiny yellow exclamation mark next to your video, which says it's not suitable for all subscribers. Now, that's not a problem on this video for me. The most I'd make out of this video for people not in the know is maybe 6 or 7 pence if a lot of people watched it up to sort of normal video level. But if it's not suitable for all subscribers, not suitable for all advertisers rather, sorry, then in my mind, YouTube are much less likely to recommend that because they are a business. Does that make sense? I don't think that they'll be recommending the video quite as much. So I'm not mentioning that C word or anything with the numbers 1 and 9 at the end. You know what I'm talking about. But things that have been delayed. For example, there's a lovely lovely eBayer who's been sending things to my YouTube channel, and he creates kits. So, for example, he's created a pick up and install power section kit for the Atari Lynx 2, and that took 9 days to come from the date it was postmarked. 9 days. My wife's birthday was on Tuesday. I ordered her some smellies and stuff from her favourite company. I think it's Ava May, and I gave them 12 days, and literally it's just arrived today. So yeah, everything's taken ages. And one of the other things that's delayed is another lovely eBayer who 3D prints stuff for the Dreamcast and other consoles, has donated quite a lot of really cool stuff to the channel for a video that I had planned to do with Neil over at Retro Man Cave. If you haven't heard of Retro Man Cave, get over there, check him out. I doubt that there's anybody watching this who hasn't heard of Retro Man Cave, but just in case, get on over there, check out his stuff. We were going to do a joint series together on the Dreamcast and all the modern upgrades, going from the GD EMU, the CD drive emulator that takes an SD card, due to all the printed replacements, the PSU replacement, all that stuff. And I've got most of it except for the DC to HDMI, which good story actually. I get lots of emails from places like Banggood and AliExpress, and they offer me free stuff. And what they say is, please review this on your channel and we'll give you a link, and that's an affiliate link. And if people then go and buy it after watching your video, they'll know it's come from me and I get a cut, which is nice. I've never actually done this yet, but what sparked this was the DC HDMI, which you install internally and turns your DC into a native HDMI output console, was on there, and they offered to send me one for free, which was really lovely. So I reached out to the original creator because with due diligence, especially when another channel is involved, I like to make sure that what I'm doing isn't like pirated or counterfeit or them ripping off someone else's work, which often happens on places like Banggood or AliExpress. So I reached out to the creator of the DC HDMI, and he said, no, it's fine for them to make it, it's all open source. He said, but the only problem is I have seen these that they're outputting, and the ribbon cables are really, really thin, and they're using fake chips on the board. So they're shaving like $2 or $3 off. And he said that can cause problems with updates. I thought, oh, well, I really don't want to be in a position where I show this product, I'm beholden to that person who sent me it for free, and then people might go off and buy that because they've seen it, and then there's a problem down the road. So due diligence. But as a consequence of that conversation with the creator, they're going to send the original ones that they make. They're going to send one of those over. But again, I'm not expecting that to come over very soon because of the situation in the United States, the situation in the UK, post and everything. So that's something that's delayed. I'm sure it's going to happen. Ultimately it's up to Neil if I'm ever allowed around again, because I drank 2 of his beers last time I went round. He really wasn't happy. I mean, he's a very polite man, but he was kind of like, yeah, that's okay. So no, it will happen. Right, I think I've waffled quite a lot in this one. So yeah, let's have the retro question of the week. Retro question of the week. Cheesy, right? Okay, so I'm kind of inspired by some of the questions that I got from my Patreon subscribers, but I just want to ask, what's the worst system you've ever owned? And mine probably is the game.com, or the Gamecom as they insisted it was. But yeah, the game.com, I still own it. It's really bad. I'm not talking about those little modern handheld with the fake Famiclone stuff. I'm thinking about proper systems that were released as systems, and you just thought, what were they thinking? Why have I got this? You know, and it could be something you were hoping for Super Nintendo for Christmas, and your nan got you an Atari 2600. Lovely system, but not when you wanted a SNES. And I've also got a B question this week, and this one sort of tickled me a little bit. If you could travel back in time 100 years from today, what piece of technology would you take back with you, and what would you use it for? And you can pick anything except for weapons. I'm not allowing weapons in this. So, love to see your answers to question A and question B down below. And I'm going to be doing another Patreon Q&A very, very soon. And I'll probably open it up to Twitter as well at some point. So keep an eye out for that. And until then, you know, I hope you're all doing okay. Let me know how you're getting on down below. It's a difficult time for everybody. And I don't know what you think of this format as well. Let me know. Any criticism is gratefully received. Not really sure what I'm going to put on this screen sitting here. So it could just be some rolling video. And we'll see how that goes. Okay, well, this is Mark from Mark Fixes Stuff signing out and reminding you to subscribe to get your fix. Another big thank you to my lovely Patreon backers, and I'll see you all on the other side. Bye. Finger guns.
Subscribe to get your fix. Maybe watch one of these other videos.